welcome to another edition of Owlbutcast, the third one that we're going to be talking about COP27. And what we can say first of all is that COP27 is over. Was it good? Well, it overran by 2 days. It was supposed to finish on the Friday, and it was Sunday morning very early when they finally had an agreement. So from that point of view, maybe it wasn't that good. You think it's probably not that good either. Well, yeah, the thing is, the biggest success that they're claiming was an agreement to have something called a loss and damage fund. And this would be a fund that will give money to the poor developing countries who are being hardest hit by the effects of climate change, such as drought and flooding. You think that must be good? Well, unfortunately, there are rather a lot of unknowns. If they're unknown, how do I know about them? Okay, what I mean is there's rather a lot of things that we don't actually know. Better, good, okay. Right, the agreement says that money will come from contributions from the developed countries, the richer countries, and from other places. But there's a bit of a disagreement over which are developed countries. For a start, at the moment, China is classed as an emerging economy, as a developing country, and so they don't have to contribute to the fund, despite the fact that they are one of the worst polluters of greenhouse gases in the world. Now, Europe and America think that China probably should contribute, and they've left that bit open in the agreement. Now, you also need to remember, by the way, that in 2009, the developed countries said they were going to make a contribution of $100 billion a year in order to help the developing countries convert to green energy. Now, that commitment is now 13 years old, and so far they have not managed to reach that target of 100 billion. Money has been paid and things have happened, but they've not reached the target that they set. So the first question we should probably ask is this money going to be paid? There was a Pakistani man at the conference who lost his home in recent floods and said that this new fund, yes, was certainly better, because what good was a solar panel when you've just lost your complete house? And by the way, these floods resulted in 1,700 deaths and caused, it's estimated, about $40 billion of damage. So that first unknown is, will the money actually get paid? The second one is, what will start a claim? What is the reason that you can claim money from this fund? And that wasn't in the agreement either. And I suppose most importantly from this agreement, will it be enough? That's a big question. So it was something. It was an agreement on a piece of paper. It's something that the developing countries had wanted for years, but it was just that. It was an agreement, and we'll have to wait and see if it ever becomes more than that. What else was achieved? Well, if you mean by achieved, what was agreed to stop us reaching that 1.5 degrees centigrade warming that was talked about at previous COPs? Nothing. But if you mean by achieved, what was in the agreement that actually made that worse? Oh, they did very, very well. There was no new commitment at all to phase out fossil fuels, the fuels that cause the greenhouse gases, coal, oil and gas. And in fact, they stuck in a new wording which said that they would commit to low emissions and renewable energy. And there are some people, not just me, I'm well known for being a cynic, and if you want to look that one up, you can do. But there were other people who think that that's a possible loophole, which means that some countries could develop their gas resources, because gas produces less emissions than coal, and therefore you fit in to the low emissions bit. Who knows? We'll have to see. The problem is, in all of this, is that the developing countries want to use their resources of coal, oil, gas in the same way that Europe, America, the developed countries used theirs. But it was using it that created the greenhouse gases. This cop could have made... What's wrong? Why have they changed camera? I wanted to look at that one. Alright? Good. This cop could have made a massive difference. It didn't. In fact, it might well have made things slightly worse. Who knows? The head of the United Nations said at the end of this conference that the planet was still in the emergency room. I'm not convinced that it might not be a little bit worse than that. Anyhow, the next COP, COP28, yes, she will be. The next COP, COP28, will be on the 30th of November 2023, and it will last till the 12th of December 2023. It's not going on for more than 2 weeks. So, you can listen to that or look out for that and see if it makes any difference at all. It's going to be held in the United Arab Emirates. It's actually going to be held in Dubai, which is one of the United Arab Emirates, which means it's going to be held in the continent of Asia. And if you want a region, it will be in the Middle East. So, there you are. That's our 3 parts on COP27. We'll be back next week. Who knows what we'll be talking about? You hope I do. So do I. Anyway, we'll be back then. See you. Bye.